All right, there, folks. Hi, my name is Philip J. Sherman. I'm coming to you live. Friday about noon, just before the Tuesday primary election. My name is Philip J. Sherman. I'm running for state representative here in the great state of Missouri, District 52. I want to make some things clear for you. Hopefully, settle some things, help you understand some things. It's commonly talked about two things at every political training that you're going to go to. I went to, I think, 5 different ones this time around. Sending out postcards, they preach. Sorry, but I'm just not doing it. I don't think that you want to see all that junk show up in your mailbox, and plus they know that you throw them away pretty quickly. So why am I going to waste my money? I'm a saver, not a spender. Israel Beza, on the other hand, my opponent, well, he's during his 7.5 years on the on the Pettis County Commission as the Eastern County Commissioner. In the last 8 years, our budget has gone from, get this, $17 million to $41 million. Let me repeat that. It's gone from $17 million for the budget overall for roads and bridges in general in 2018 to this year, 2026, 8 years later. We've got a $41 million budget. Why the difference? Has your county more than doubled in population? Nope. Has the CPI more than doubled in Nope. That's the Consumer Price Index, by the way, which has gone up maybe 25%. Maybe. Anyway, so 141% has gone up. 141%. The population's gone up 2,000 or 4,000 people from like maybe 39,000 to 43,000. Okay. Not that much. I mean, maybe a 10%, maybe. But no. So anyway, I believe in being conservative in both campaign spending and your governmental spending. Like, for instance, also your state budget. If you want the state budget to continue going up, then you need to elect Israel Beza. I'm not your guy. If you want the state budget to go down, and when it goes down $9 billion, we can take care of the income tax without passing a new tax. That's the shell game of Amendment 5. And in Amendment 4, they're just changing one of the 3 ways that you can change the Missouri State Constitution, which, by the way, has been bloated to where it's 126 different amendments now. Crazy number. So it's making it like the second or largest state constitution in all 50 states. I think Alabama, of all states, has the largest, which is crazy. That marijuana thing that was passed, that was 41 or 42 pages, depending on who you ask, of our 200 plus state constitution. To put it another way, your U.S. Constitution's got 27 amendments. It's like 7 pages plus the amendments. Yeah. Completely different. It's way too easy to put things into our state constitution, but you need to change all 3 of them at the same time. Make it harder for all 3 processes, not just the citizen-led process. When it's brought to you by the state legislature, which all 5 of the ones for 2026 are being brought to you by the state legislature, it's still going to only require a simple majority. It's not going to require that every congressional district votes for it. Whereas if it's citizen-led, you're going to have to win the majority in all 8 congressional districts in Missouri. No. Not going for it. We might have 2/3 Republicans leading both the House and the Senate, which are both chambers of the General Assembly in Jefferson City. But that doesn't mean that they're giving you really Republican things and really acting conservatively. And on that note, I want to read to you the definitions of Republican and conservative. So, Republican, of relating to or constituting the one of the 2 major political parties in the U.S. that is usually associated with reduced taxation, right? I'm all about reducing taxes. With limited government regulation of business, finance, industry, education, policing, strong national defense, opposition to abortion, affirmative action, gun control. Because, by the way, if you put a gun down and you tell it to shoot, it's not going to shoot. It's not going to shoot. It can't. Because it has to have you or a human being or some other person or animal potentially, like, pull the trigger. It can't do it on its own. But you know what? We all have a depraved heart, desperately wicked. Who can know it? According to Jeremiah 17:9. That's what the Creator, our Creator, God Almighty says, who is Jesus Christ, by the way. Anyway, and police and policies and laws that are viewed as challenging traditional social and family hierarchies and structure. That's your definition of Republican, which the word first goes back to 1646. Here's a interesting quote by Philip Marsh about it. He, meaning Thomas Jefferson, had been amazed on first arriving at New York to hear in government circles so little Republican and so much so little Republican and so much aristocratic sentiment. So, Republican and aristocrat are definitely not the same things. Anyway, so what's conservatives? This is from the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the Federal House, that is, Congress, not Jefferson City. This is the congressional level. Congressman Mike Johnson. He says, 1, individual freedom. 2, limited government. These are the 7 core principles of conservatism. 1, individual freedom. 2, limited government. 3, the rule of law. 4, peace through strength. 5, fiscal responsibility. Opposite of what Israel Bays has already done at the Pettis County level. By the way, they're not very transparent either. They have one ordinance online. Otherwise, you have to go through the county clerk's office to actually get those. That's just not very transparent in our day and age where everything's easily put online. I can go and look up the city of Sedalia's ordinances. I can find them all online. I can find all of Missouri's state statutes online. I can find all of the Code of Federal Regulations online. That's the United States Code. Can't do that with Pettis County. Is Pettis County different? Is Pettis County above the rules? I don't know. Let's change this, is what I say. Let's make government transparent. Whether it's at any level, city, state, federal, it all needs to be 100% transparent because you know what? We, the people, own the government. That's you and me. Come on. And if you believe in this stuff, I'm your guy for state representative. Quite honestly. You're not going to find Israel Beza talking passionately about this. Go ask him yourself. I've seen a number of places online where they're asking him what his stance is on amendments in 4 and 5. He ain't saying, but he's for both. He's a Kehoe guy through and through. After all, he had Kehoe come. He made sure Kehoe came and spoke to his re-election bid in 2024. He knew what he was doing. He knew he set himself up for this campaign. Yeah. Fifthly, fiscal responsibility. 6, free markets. 7th, human dignity, which includes allowing all human beings to be born. Right now, we allow the legal murder of children. That's what abortion is. Let's just call a spade, you know? So, anyway, I want to go into some of these sad endorsements that Israel Beza has. And you know what? First, we got the firefighters. I'm completely for the firefighters. You know what? They never reached out to me or my campaign at all. Not once, not through mail or email. Nope. Did I have an opportunity to get endorsed? No. Let's see. Who did they endorse for mayor of Sedalia? Oh, yeah, that was Andrew Dawson. How did that one work out for you? Let's do the same with Israel. Secondly, NRA. Yeah, He did the survey. Unfortunately, I did not see that email survey come through at the end of April. Wasn't checking my email very well at the time. I got to do better on that, I got to admit. I'm 100% for the Second Amendment, as you probably could already tell, because you know what? A gun can't kill anybody on its own. It all comes down to who is using the weapon. Are they being smart with the weapon? I'm all about gun safety. I was in the military. I was a military policeman. And you know what? To this day, if I'm holding a gun, I'm not pointing it at anybody. I'm making sure that it's down. It's like down like this. Just not doing it any other way. And if I see them on the range doing it any other way and they're not trying to shoot, I'm letting them know about it. Anyway, enough of a side point right there, right? Pettis County First. You can go to their Facebook page and validate this, but on their Facebook page, you won't find anywhere where Israel Beza is actually being endorsed. He says it on his page. That's it. They endorse Dr. Sam Alexander. You'll find that several times on their page. I also endorse Dr. Sam Alexander. Me and him are cut from the same conservative thread, folks. Whereas Israel Beza, he's a mini Brad Pollitt. He is. He led his first campaign, and he's made sure that he's been doing things like Brad Pollitt. You've got your politicians, of course, endorsing Israel Beza. They work with him. Okay? Missouri Right to Life. Well, you know what? Has he been on the state board of Missouri Right to Life? No, I have. I was on there from 2018 to 2019. I tried to do something outside of them in the abortion area. They didn't like this. They're just not very well organized, folks, by the way. And that was like, if President Lincoln got rid of slavery while ignoring the Dred Scott decision, and he made the Emancipation Proclamation, which didn't exactly obey the, Supreme Court opinion, which they issue opinions, folks. That's what they do. Well, why couldn't Donald Trump do the same thing? So during his first administration, I was trying to get word to him about maybe, hey, let's do that, and then we can end Roe v. Wade before the courts decide to do it, because who knows when the court will decide to do it. The members, like the president of the Missouri Right to Life, didn't like this, and they decided to get rid of me. Because I was honestly too conservative for them. I'll put it another way. So I'm all about giving the unborn equal rights. But at the same time, you end up criminalizing somebody for committing the abortion. Because, well, it's murder. And this right now, we treat this one type of murder differently than any other. So, because of that, in 2022, when Missouri had an opportunity, and this year as well, and I finally got out of committee this year, to give to pass in committee equal rights for the unborn, your Missouri Right to Life executive director, Susan Klein, who I know well, testified against this measure of giving the unborn equal rights. How can that be, right? Because they say that the woman's always the victim. And that's where their beef is. Okay, but let's give unborn rights to the women. And another thing, you can ask your legislator this. There's a whole bunch of pro-life legislation proposed every year. Do they pass them all every year? No. No, they first and foremost want to know, okay, but what's being supported by the Missouri Right to Life? Because if it's a pro-life bill and it's not supported by the Missouri Right to Life, they don't vote for it. It doesn't go anywhere. You tell me how pro-life these guys are. Me, I'm going to vote for every one of them unless it's been poisoned pilled to where it's not good legislation anymore. And you can ask me anything you want, including the poison pill thing. Missouri Fraternal Order of Police. Yeah, I'm for the police. I was a military policeman. I understand the 7 levels of force and how you want to keep it at the first level. At the same time, the police, law enforcement, they're supposed to enforce the law. If they're not enforcing the law, they're not doing their job. They are an arm of the government. So they can be scrutinized just like any other member of the government, just like politicians, just like any other employees of the government. So they should not feel that they are exempt from criticism, because they're not. That's the truth of the matter. If we really want policing to be done right, which I do, then we're going to be willing to criticize the police, law enforcement, just like we criticize the rest of the government apparatus. National Right to Life, not National Right to Life, but NRA, 100% for gun owners. Shall not be infringed is the key phrase at the end of the Second Amendment. So we really shouldn't be making gun laws. That's what that means to me. Okay, I think I thoroughly explained that. I think this is the edition of the video where I went over the conservative stuff. Yeah, getting a little lengthy. Sorry, folks. Try and wrap it up. I've been endorsed by people that actually are key in their issue areas. We're talking Bonnie Wallace and books. Book boundaries, not book banning. Okay? There are books being targeted at your 12-year-olds in our public schools, at 12-year-olds, about like sex positions and other sex things. Like, what are we thinking? Is that why we have schools? Absolutely not. Bonnie Wallace who goes around the country speaking about this stuff. I had her at my campaign kickoff. She has endorsed me. State Senator Mike Moon, who, if you're conservative in the state of Missouri, you've probably heard of and know of, he's endorsing me. Hopefully he runs for governor this next time, if you ask me. Connie Purchase, a former county auditor here in Pettis County. She's endorsed me. Connie Purchase. Dr. Douglas Frank, election integrity authority ever since the 2020 election. And he does a lot of modeling and uses science to prove his points and to show the fraud and bring the fraud out of, and like how there's dead voters, super voters, ghost voters, and at least 2 other types of voters, of fraud voters, that is. Anyway, Dr. Douglas Frank has endorsed me. I'll take those 4 over his any day, okay? I am ready to propose legislation on your behalf in the state of Missouri for giving equal rights to the unborn. 2, getting rid of bad books from public school libraries. 3, finding ways to repair the moral fabric of the state of Missouri. What am I talking about? Like LGBTQIA stuff. Bringing the Bible back to public schools so that we actually teach morality. So that we can actually have good, honorable citizens. Why do we have all this crime going on more so in different ways than we did before? Because we've been getting away from the Bible for decades. That's why, folks. Stopping data centers from coming to Missouri. We need legislation against that. And a key way that they've been doing that is through NDAs. So we need to ban all government entities in the state of Missouri from going into NDAs with in any relationship with a business. We don't need, and there shouldn't be, a legal reason for having NDAs between government officials and a business. If nothing else, then they're supporting that business any more than another business. All businesses should be equal in the eyes of the government, unless they're banned because it's of a sin nature. Which drugs, you got regulations on the sin industry, because all that stuff comes out of the Bible. Anyway, ending trash accumulation through incinerators or other means in Missouri. Let's do it. 7th, getting rid of 10 regulations for every one new regulation, just like Trump's doing it at the federal level. And I'm all about making Missouri great again. Let's make Missouri the best state, not the 6th or 10th best state out there. And we got to do something about our education system, folks, because we're going the wrong direction in the education system. Limiting ways that create fraud, waste, and abuse in our system. We have to make sure it doesn't have a way to finagle its way into our system, or else it'll get there and we'll just have an even more bloated budget because, well, right now, most of your legislators are just voting for it. They don't have to. Although that's the one thing that we have to pass every year at the state level. We have to pass a state budget. And finally, ways to provide government transparency to its owners. We the people that are the owners of the government, we need to actually act like that. Over in Jefferson City, we got our government infrastructure being taken care of by our public servants. So that's a list of 9 different things. I'm sure if I thought about it more, I could get a list of 9 other things as well. But those are pretty key. So anyway, yeah. If you want somebody that can double your budget, that's Israel. I'm going to try to decrease the budget. I was a Dollar General store manager for a couple years. I got some store awards on behalf of my store. And I'm trying to prove it right now. Which I had these on display at the store until I no longer was the store manager and they didn't want to see them anymore. But I had them to where customers could see them. And that was the busiest store in the district. The one next to Country Kitchen right there on South 65, directly across from the Missouri State Fairgrounds. Anyway, folks, I think that's a number of good reasons why you should vote for Philip J. Sherman. Please spread this video around to your fellow Pettis Countyans and make it a great day. Make sure you go out and vote on Tuesday, August 4th. I kid you not, but this election on August 4th might even be more important than in November, because this is the election that ensures you have the Republicans that you want to vote for on the general ballot in November, instead of, just some Republican. No, we want to make sure that we have conservative Republicans, not establishment Republicans. And yes, there's a big difference. And we can tell that through our budgets year after year. And whether data centers can come in, like Mike Kehoe, who made sure Montgomery County got a 1,000-acre data center just this year. Sorry, we don't need that. We don't need any new data centers. There's something like 1,700 data centers already across the United States. But they'd rather build new ones than take care of their old ones after a couple decades, apparently. And they take up a lot of water. They do. They take up a different power source. They don't want to take their own power source and their own water and only use that and be in a cycle with themselves. They want to be different than any other business. I'm sorry, I'm not for that, folks. Anyway, so please support Philip J. Sherman on Tuesday, August 4th. Thank you. Goodbye.